Now, the majority of recipients of SASSA grants are having issues with their cards. The South African Social Security Agency is currently making backup plans for the issuance of grants as the South African Post Office is under threat of liquidation. Now, almost half of the gold cards will expire by June this year. SASSA has been urging clients to check their cards and either renew or change the payment option. Most of the gold cards recipients have been relying on the Post Bank to enable transactions at ATMs. Joining us now to discuss this is Paseka Letsatsi, who is the spokesperson for SASSA. Paseka, thank you so much for making time for us. First of all, help us understand what these SASSA gold cards are about. How do they operate?
Good afternoon, Clement, and thanks for having me. I think the SASSA gold card operates like any other bank card. But remember, these are cards which were produced by the post office, in particular to service the beneficiaries of social grants. But what we can tell you is that these cards, they operate like any other bank card. Clement, people can use it to transact at any place. They do not necessarily have to withdraw cash. So in short, what we can simply say is that they do not, whatever that they do, it's not different from any other bank card which they can do.
Mm-hmm. So my understanding is that you have about 5.9 million social grants recipients who transact through these gold cards. How many of these are actually going to be expiring in June?
It's basically a month. I would just say there are those who started in March, then April, then May, and in June. And I think in June we would have about 1 million or so of people who would have to do the card swap. But what we can say, Clement, which is good, is that we as an organization have developed a contingency plan just to make sure that if there are any problems with regards to people to swap their cards, we do not necessarily put people in a situation where at come month and they won't be able to get what is due to them. In this instance, we have agreed as management of SASSA to make sure that our staff work overtime. We are even prepared to open on Saturdays, so that if people are unhappy, for example, with whatever cards, they can then be able to change from one platform to the other easily without creating any crisis.
Okay. So what's important is also for your clients to check the expiry date of their cards. I'm just wondering what kind of challenges have the recipients faced regarding the replacement of these cards?
What challenges they have explained, they've experienced, Clement, it's a situation where people have complained that when they go to the post office, for example, some post offices are closed. Secondly, which are closer to where they stay. In some instances, they've complained about the queues and so forth. And we have explained to them that if your card is expiring in May, please do not go to the post office and try and exchange your card because you won't get any help. But basically, the third one, it's all what affects everybody. Me and you know very well that we do have a backup plans in terms of the generators. But you know you can burn as much diesel as possible. But if there's load shedding, unfortunately, there's absolutely nothing that we can do because it affects the network and people are not able to do the card swap. So, but in that instance, we want our beneficiaries to understand that it's a condition or situation which is beyond our control. But we think we'll steadily get there and we'll definitely make sure that everybody who is supposed to get their social grant is helped and they do not necessarily experience any problem.
Okay, so those whose cards have expired and they want to request a change of payment method, how do they do that? And is there a limit as to how many times beneficiaries can change their method of payment?
There's no limit, Clement, but would advise that you do not necessarily change many times. The reason why we have agreed that we'll allow staff of SASSA to work overtime is to make sure that if people are unhappy and they want to change to the banks, for example, they can do that at any given moment. We have dispatched the manpower to make sure that people are able to come in, are able to be helped so that they can change. But one thing that people must also understand, Clement, that card operates like any other bank card. And if you want to use it to purchase whatever, you are able to use it like any bank card. People do not necessarily have to withdraw their money and have cash with them. We understand, Clement, and I think I must just emphasize, there's a trust deficit between people and us in terms of them getting their money. They want to get all their money in their hands. But we just want to advise them that the card is safe, you can transact with it. But at the core of what we are, of the message which we are sending to people is that if you want to change the card because you feel that you are unhappy, we as an organization will definitely make sure that you get help.
Okay. And then for social grants recipients who choose to get their social grants payment through their personal bank account, what do they need to do? What kind of documents do they need to bring with?
They basically have to get a letter from the bank confirming that indeed they've got an account with a particular bank, come to a SASSA office with their ID and their card and explain. There's a form which they have to fill there. Our staff will then be able to help them fill the form so that they move from whatever a bank which they feel that they are uncomfortable with and choose their own personal bank account. We will definitely help them because it is the right of a beneficiary. It is their right when they make an application for a social grant to choose any method of payment which they want.
All right. Paseka Letsatsi, SASSA spokesperson, thank you so much for making time for us.